Hello beautiful people, and welcome to today's pick a card reading. We will be looking at how you're affecting the person on your mind, and we have 3 decks to choose from, 1, 2, and 3. Pick as many or as few as you'd like. If you don't feel drawn to any of the decks, that is okay. It may just be that there is no message for you in any of these readings. Or you may feel drawn to more than one, so there may be a message for you in more than one reading. There will also be an extended, and I talk about those more in the readings themselves, so you'll know if you want to check them out or not once you hear that. And personal readings, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, now is the best time to do it because I will be less available in May. It's still April as I'm filming this, and also will be April as I'm posting this, but in May I will be a bit more unavailable. So if you would like to book with me, if that is something on your mind, then I would recommend to do it within the next couple of days so that I can get to your reading in time and have it ready for you without delays. So yeah. On that note, I will stop talking about random things and leave you to focus on which deck calls to you the most, and I will see you soon. Hello, my beautiful pile ones, and welcome to your reading on how you're affecting the person on your mind. This can be a current connection, a past connection, whatever works for you, whatever you're looking for. So we're starting off with this one card, and then we have some tarot to get through, as well as channeled messages. They are back for this reading. I prefer to use them more often in the extended because I feel like those are more specific, and I think that works better for channeled messages. But either way, we will pull some in the main reading, but we will also have an extended with tons of more channeled messages and some other stuff, but I will get into that later. So let's just get into this first. We are starting off with Mars. Aries energy or Aries season could be significant. We're almost done with Aries season, so this could have been an interesting time for you if you're watching this at the time that I'm posting it. But either way, even if Aries energy is not significant for you, this is your pile if you've had a very triggering connection with this person. And first of all, I think it's been very triggering for the person on your mind, regardless of how it may have been for you. Because there is a very overwhelmed energy, but there is also a very strong energy of trying to control something or control a situation, maybe other people's perceptions of them. This seems to be someone who may not have a very strong connection with their own self, and when we don't have a strong core, a strong kind of well-built, I don't want to call it well-built, but an inner world with strong foundations, essentially. When we don't have that, the external world can feel very overwhelming, especially in the face of change or a big challenge or something new, something unexpected. I also just saw 222, so that could be significant for some of you or not. I also felt the urge to call you Pile 3, even though I have not filmed Pile 3 yet. So if you felt drawn to both, maybe you're coming from Pile 3 for some of you. But getting back into this, I think this is someone who through this connection has had to learn a lot. Whether they have pursued these lessons and these opportunities for learning will be different depending on your situation, because I feel like we have a bit of a divide here, where for some of you, this person has been more willing to see new parts of themselves or shed some of their self-limiting beliefs or behaviors that may have been keeping them stuck in the same cycles. These behaviors could be something like substance abuse, though it absolutely doesn't have to be. It can be escapism and avoiding confrontation, avoiding resolution once something goes wrong, avoiding responsibility because of a fear of potentially taking this responsibility and this resulting in an altered self-image on their end, which may not be the nicest thing for them to see, like to see their own flaws or to review their own mistakes. I think this is someone who holds themselves up to very high standards while also believing that they can't really ever live up to these standards. So there is a bit of a hot and cold energy when it comes to their own relationship with their own self, which may have been projected into your connection with them as well. And the role you played here and how you affected this person it's quite big. Because I feel like this person has now had many opportunities to be authentic, be real, be genuine with themselves and with you through this connection and through what you've experienced together. It could have been that you have had many ups and downs in this connection, which I would say would also depend on how willing this person has been to challenge themselves. But I feel like there is a group here where this person has not been willing to really challenge themselves or be challenged or go out of their way or change something. This is someone that feels comfortable in what's familiar, and what's familiar for this person seems to be chaos. And having the ability to control that chaos. And I think that sense of control has been more of an illusion for this person, in the sense that they may walk away from a situation, and this is what may have happened in yours. They may have kind of run when things got difficult or when things got very triggering, very intimate, very emotional. It could have been that this person chose to run and not really face the challenges, while you may have been willing to face the challenges or see this situation through or to understand it better or resolve a problem that may have come up. But it feels like this person was not really willing to cooperate, and they may have wanted to just take control of the situation by potentially ending it or avoiding it, kind of deciding the outcome in a sense, or giving themselves the illusion that they have decided the outcome. For some of you, I feel like there could have been deceit on this person's end. They could have been not honest about their intentions or what they were doing, what they're up to, what they're looking for, what they're willing to do. Something along those lines. It feels like something may have been a bit mismatched. And for some of you, while I do feel that there is a group where this person has not been willing to take a lot of responsibility or face themselves, I think there is also going to be a group where this person has been trying, but they're kind of held back by their own fears and anxieties. And I think this goes for both groups, but what's different is like the willingness of this person. That's how I'm visualizing it now, like two diverging paths that kind of stem from the same thing, that stem from a fear of seeing themselves and not liking it because they have this inherent belief that they're not going to be good enough anyway. While it may stem from the same place, I think how this person is dealt with will be different depending on your situation. And you will know what this person has been up to or how they've been dealing with this energy. One thing that is really, really highlighted to me is control, a need for a sense of control, even if it's not genuine control. I think they may have tried to narrate this situation themselves in a way maybe that wasn't entirely objective, or in a way that didn't actually reflect what was happening between the two of you. There may have been a lot of miscommunications, a lot of difficulty seeing eye to eye with this person. And that is because the effect you have had on this person has been that you have challenged them. I think you have stood up to this person or called them out and wanted to have a real conversation. And for most of you, I think this person has not been willing to do the same. They would have likely pulled away, or maybe ghosted you. For some of you, just disappeared with no explanation whatsoever. Even though for most of you, I do think you have some kind of history with this person. This is not going to be someone you just met and you barely talked. It's going to be someone that got to know you, because I think even if you may have been afraid, I think you are willing to be vulnerable and explore this connection with this person. I get the sense that both of you may be carrying, or both of you may have been carrying a lot of weight from the past coming into this connection when you met each other. But I also get the sense that you have chosen very different ways of dealing with these energies. I think you kind of were more willing to just go for it and face it, even if it was terrifying. And that is something to be admired, by the way. I really, really admire that. And I hope you admire that about yourself too. It's never fun to, no, it's not that it's never fun, but it can be scary to go into the unknown, to go into something that's not familiar, or to try to change things that you've believed your whole life because of things that may have happened in your past. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of courage sometimes to face our fears. So as a side note, I want to bring the spotlight to you a little bit, because I think you have experienced incredible growth through this connection. I don't think it's been easy, but it also feels like there has been a lot of evolution on your end. I'm curious about the tarot. I don't know how long I've been talking about this, but yeah, let's see. And I have to say, I don't think the effect you have on this person is like dead and gone. I don't think it is something that has stopped affecting them. I think they're still influenced by this connection and what happened within it, even if it was like a year ago, even if you haven't talked to them in a while. I think the effect still remains. How is pile 1 affecting person on their mind, please, universe? How? We have the 4 of Pentacles and the 7 of Wands. This is incredibly guarded energy. And I don't think it's because you did something specific. I think this is entirely because you challenged this person and because you triggered them, kind of held up a mirror to them, let's say, so they could see themselves. They had an opportunity to see themselves. But it feels like for most of you, they were either too scared to look, or they couldn't look at it for long enough. So they may be going back and forth a little bit, hot and cold, if you are in contact with them. Though for most of you, I feel like if you are in contact with them, it's not going to be very consistent or very in-depth. Like you may have had a few significant conversations about what's going on in the connection. You may have tried to have some confrontational conversations with this person about their behavior or about what's happened in this connection. But there is a general energy of avoidance and keeping to themselves. And this is entirely because they are triggered. I think this is because they feel uncomfortable in themselves and uncomfortable being challenged. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. How is pile one? We have the Nine of Swords. A lot of overthinking and feeling like they're drowning in their thoughts a little bit, because I think they feel really drawn to you, but also terrified of this connection, terrified of seeing themselves and stepping out of this illusion they seem to have caged themselves in. And I think this is entirely because they feel comfortable in it. I don't think they're actually caged there. I think it's just a fear of stepping out. Like it's unlocked. The cage, the door, it's unlocked, but they are too scared to even try and see if it is gonna open. And for some of you, they may recognize that it's open, but they say, okay, it's safer in here. Nothing can attack me. I'm not gonna see anything unfamiliar, anything weird, so I'm just gonna stay in here. So again, I think they're internally very frustrated and just having a difficult time. Again, because they've been triggered, because this connection has been intense and more intimate for them than they expected it to be. It hasn't been simple. It hasn't been surface level. It hasn't been easy for them. They seem to feel this very strong pull towards you. And I think they have trouble dealing with it. I don't think they like feeling controlled by someone else or someone else having an effect on them. I think they like to be the one in control. We have the Tower in reverse, and we have the Lovers in reverse. They may have sabotaged this connection. That is coming through very strongly for most of you, like some kind of runner type of energy. Gemini, Scorpio, or Aquarius energies could be significant, or seasons, but they don't have to be. Can we clarify the Nine of Swords, please? Can we clarify the Nine of Swords? How is pile one affecting this person? We have the Knight of Pentacles. Here is the learning opportunity to change something, to walk a path that they will feel safer walking. Like it almost feels like they just scare themselves so much that they stay in a dark room when they could be walking outside with the trees and the birds and the butterflies, because I think they don't know what's out there and they're scared to see, which is, it's very human to be afraid, and it's okay. But I feel like they're really getting in their own way, and this may have been a frustrating energy to deal with on your end as well, because it feels like you were putting in a lot of effort and then this person was not able to meet you halfway or match your energy in that way. We have the Ten of Cups in reverse. I think it's difficult for this person to open up and for them to express themselves and to understand and put their inner world and their feelings into words as well. I think that's not something that comes easily to this person. They may put most of their emotions into a big box, like bad things, good things, things I like, things I don't like, instead of seeing the specifics or understanding where they're actually coming from or what really that feeling is. Like, they could be feeling ashamed, but instead they could be projecting that to the external as aggression, as anger, even though that's not their actual feeling. Or they could be mad at themselves, but then they project it onto someone else. Or maybe they feel disconnected from their own self, but it reflects onto everything else. We have the King of Swords. I get the sense that this is someone who is very guarded towards other people's opinions and advice. I don't think this person likes being told what to do or what they could potentially do. I think they like to do things on their own. And I feel that this comes from this part of them that feels this very strong need to be guarded because they don't want to be found out. I think their fear of opening up comes from, in some sense, that they're afraid to see themselves because they're afraid of what they're going to find, and they're afraid that it's not going to be something that they like. I think this person can be very black or white and harsh with their judgments, especially towards their own self, but I think this reflects onto other things as well in their life. So it could be like an all or nothing kind of situation for them. So they may try to come in and out of your life depending on where they're at with their own self. They may have tried to do this in the past. I think they can be reckless sometimes, especially when they feel overwhelmed. I think this is someone who, because they kind of have a lack where their relationship with their own self is, I think they might be someone that looks to the external world to validate them. And they may have had phases where they wanted to come in and out of your life because depending on their emotional state, they may have felt like they needed something to lean on, something to validate them, validate their experience. I think you have been very open to this person, though I don't know if this is the case anymore. It might not be for some of you. I mean, essentially, wherever you're at with this person, that part is up to you. You know your situation best, not me, not any other tarot reader. You're the person going through it. So, I'm not telling you to do one thing over the other, though we will get advice, especially in the extended. But I'll talk about the extended in a second, but I just want to get through this as well. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Any opportunity that seems to come their way for most of you, I think this person has been ignoring them or pushing them away. And by opportunity, I mean opportunities of deepening their own understanding of their own self, deepening of their understanding of their emotions. I think there are a lot of obstacles mentally within this person. I think this is someone who is wounded, but also someone who has difficulty acknowledging that, and someone who has difficulty taking responsibility for their healing, and instead may resort to temporary relief. They may resort to getting temporary relief from other things, from external things, rather than getting to the root of the issue or what's blocking them. But I think the effect you've had on them has been very significant, because it's handed them opportunities to face their fears, to undo their fears, and they've had the opportunity to do this alongside someone else or while being connected to someone else. But it feels like for most of you, they did not take this opportunity. Let's get some channeled messages, and before we get into those, I will also quickly mention what we're looking at in the extended. We are looking at what they have realized, and we're getting tons of more channeled messages from the person on your mind, and we're finishing off with advice on how to deal with the situation right now, or incoming energies, whatever comes through for your specific pile, we will see. But let's see what this person would say. I am focused on my success. I need support. Yeah, there's that kind of energy of seeking something external. What message wants to come through? I feel really overwhelmed. I can't do this anymore. Let's get 6. Put these here. I am really attracted to you, and I want to see where this situation goes. I will finish off with some affirmations. For you. But we will have more advice in the extended as well if you are interested. And all advice and affirmations are of course optional. I'm just putting these out there, and if they don't make sense to you, just leave them. Don't think twice about them. We have surrender. I can release my need to control. Interesting that this comes out, because I think this also relates to this person's energy quite well. There is that strong need of wanting to be in control. And we have forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. And this in no way is supposed to mean don't feel your emotions, just have empathy and don't get mad. It just means that after you have experienced the feelings, try not to hold on to feelings that may just be making you feel bad and bringing you down longer than necessary. One thing I like to say is holding on to toxic feelings will not poison the people who hurt you, but they will eventually poison you, or will not hurt the people who hurt you, but they will eventually poison you. So it more so has to do with that type of energy rather than saying, don't feel anything, don't be mad, you know, just people are people, let them be. To some extent, yes, it's important to understand that people's actions are often a reflection of what's going on within them rather than a reflection of you. And people are people in that sense, but that doesn't mean that no one is accountable for anything, no one should be responsible for anything, or that you shouldn't feel normal human emotions when things happen. So yeah, I think on this note, this is all I have for you. See you soon if you are coming with me to the extended, and if not, I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile twos, and welcome to your reading on how you're affecting the person on your mind. This can be a current connection or a past connection. It doesn't really matter. So take these messages however they resonate with you. We're starting off with this card, then we have some tarot to get through, and we also have a comeback. The channeled messages are back for this reading. And we also have an extended where we will look at, well, I'll talk about that later, actually. Getting ahead of myself, so let's get into this. We're starting off our reading with Libra, Libra season, or Libra could be significant, but it doesn't have to be. This person is really attracted to you, and that is coming through very, very, very strongly. And I don't mean just simple, basic attraction. This almost feels like a soul level kind of attraction. I think this is someone who is very drawn to you, and I would guess that this is someone you are either with, or you were with, or you are about to be with. I know that's a lot of options, but I'm saying this because I guess those are all of the options, really. But the reason I said it is because I feel like there is so much appreciation for you and so much fondness of the time that you have so far spent with this person. But there is also a lot of openness towards you and towards this connection. So I don't know where you're at with this person. You could also be in separation and this person could still be in this kind of energy. You'll know the exact specifics of your situation. So I'm not going to try to guess where you're at, because especially because I feel quite a big divide here about where you might be with this person. But they are enchanted by you. I think that is the best word to put it. It feels like you have made them more curious about the world around them. Like you have changed them in certain ways that they would not have changed in if they had not crossed paths with you. And these changes feel like they liberated this person in certain ways, or gave them a new perspective that they are unable to unsee. And I think they quite enjoy seeing things from this perspective as well. I think they are mesmerized by your mind and how you look at things and how you explain things. There could be, or there could have been mirroring between you and this person in terms of not mirroring even, but maybe the best way to put it is, feels like compatibility, like picking up the slack where your partner can't. It feels like that kind of energy, a lot of cooperation, a lot of teamwork. And I don't think we are talking about someone who is normally a team player in a relationship setting. I think this is someone who has maybe been a bit more hyper independent, I want to say. Someone who may not have the easiest time allowing someone else to work with them, because I think this is someone who is very capable of doing things on their own too, but the main point is that they don't quite have to. Not all the time, especially if they're having a hard time, especially emotionally. I think this is someone who, before meeting you, may have tended to keep their emotions bottled up or closed off, and it almost feels like through triggering each other, potentially, or by also having very intimate, vulnerable moments together, seeing that it's not the end of the world if you lean on each other. And I'm saying this because I think this is how this person may have seen this in the past, like they need to be self-sufficient and there is no other option. But I think they've seen with you that there is another option, that they can have a companion who is there with them, who is willing to be there with them, and someone who wants to be vulnerable with them, someone who wants to be real, authentic, genuine, someone who craves a deeper connection. I think this person on some level has also craved this type of connection, but I don't think they have been able to dive this deep before, or I don't think they've had the opportunity to dive this deep before. Let's put it that way. There is a lot of admiration and a lot of appreciation for you and where you come from. And I think this was someone who has been giving you good advice in certain areas of your life, or about how you perceive certain things too. So it feels like a mutually beneficial connection. Like both people are giving, both people are wanting to make this work. This is definitely not someone who wants you to feel like you have to do it all alone. And the sense of that seems to have become stronger in this person through knowing you. Because I think your energy is just so inviting, and this person is protective over you in that sense too. They're protective of your energy, and I think they also want to, there's almost a sense of wanting to stop you from overthinking, wanting to reassure you, wanting to validate you. So while they may have their own emotional ups and downs and their own stress that they're dealing with, maybe especially in like business setting, so like work or there is an exchange of information potentially. So maybe school, if they are studying, maybe uni. I don't know, I feel like you've made this person notice a lot of beauty in a lot of things, and it's not that they were blind to it before, but I think this is someone who's quite earthy, someone who is quite grounded. And by earthy, I don't mean they are an earth sign. They don't have to be. I mean just in their way of being and their personality, I think they are quite down to earth. But you, I think there is a bit more of a dreamy tinge to your energy. And that is, it seems to help this person balance their practicality out. So they're not just this practical person who has the exact same routine and thinks about nothing else. I think you have made them move more outside of the box. And not to say this person was not in any way, shape, or form outside of the box before. I think this is someone who's actually quite creative, so they could be into the arts of some sorts, maybe music, maybe painting, maybe writing, maybe cooking, whatever it may be, something that is creative. But it more so feels like you have this inspirational energy to you, a little bit like a muse, a lot like a muse, maybe. I don't know, it's quite like this person is very curious about you. You have made them interested. That's how you affect them. And not just interested about you, but interested in the things that you do, and interested in how you see the world and your opinions and the universe. And just feels like, it feels very energized and very connected. And that doesn't mean that this has been an easy connection. I do think there has been a lot of teamwork here and potentially a lot that you have been working through together. Togetherness is like the strongest thing coming through here. You may have seen each other at your worst and both of you stuck around. Or you may have had anxiety or doubts about this connection, which is perfectly normal and perfectly okay and very human. But you've also had the courage to say stop to those anxieties and then listen to what your intuition is really telling you, or listen to what this person is really telling you, or look at what they're really showing you. Of course, this won't apply for you if like this is someone who has given you a reason to like not trust them or to not feel comfortable in this connection. But I don't feel like that's the case here for most of you. So that's why I'm saying this. I feel like there's such a connected energy. Like you make things better for each other. You make it easier to feel safe enough to pause and reconsider. And I think this applies to both of you. This might have been someone who was very stubborn and set in their own ways. That's why I kind of got a more non-team player energy from them. And that doesn't mean they were like not agreeable or anything, but I think it was more that this was just more of a lone wolf type of person. And they still are, I think, in certain ways, but I think they have also been enjoying doing things with you as a team and being there for you and leaning on you and you leaning on them and walking hand in hand and all of these things. Like they've slowed down and realized, okay, maybe I don't want to do this alone after all. Maybe I'll ask Pile 2 what they think, or what they think I should do, or maybe I'll ask Pile 2 to hold me. I think you've shown them that it's okay to be gentle and soft and to put your emotions out there and to show them, because I don't think that is something that comes easily to this person necessarily, especially softer, gentler, watery emotions. And by that I mean caring about someone or a very deep sense of love. Especially if you are with this person or if you have been with this person, I think they have gotten to experience a very deep sense of knowing and a very deep sense of connection and a very deep sense of love in ways that they have not experienced before. Yeah, let's get into the tarot. And before I do that, I will quickly talk about what we're looking at in the extended so that I don't forget. We will look at what the person on your mind has realized, and we will get tons of channeled messages from the person on your mind, and we will finish off with advice on how to deal with your situation currently or in terms of incoming energies. Whatever comes through, I'm leaving that open. So if you want to see me there, if you want to meet me there, you won't see me, just my hands. If you want to meet me there, you can find the link for that down below somewhere. But otherwise, and either way, we're getting into the tarot. So I'm getting empathy, sensitivity. You've definitely strengthened their how connected they are with their heart space and how comfortable they are in expressing what's happening in that heart space. I think there is an energy of being more gentle with their own self too. I think that is something that they are still learning potentially, because I think it's maybe easier for them to be gentle with others, gentle with you, but not so much with their own self sometimes. Leo energy or Leo season could be significant. Ooh. That was a Lovers that flew out. And it flipped like upright and then reverse. Gemini energy or Gemini season could be significant. But besides that, I'm getting a bit of a long distance energy from this too. Or like separation, I guess, of some sorts. I said long distance because I feel like there is a very strong sense of commitment to each other and a very strong sense of connection, but you could very well be in separation with them and still feel this way too. We have the 9 of Pentacles. We have the King of Swords in reverse. We have the Devil in reverse. You're teaching this person to not listen to their negative thoughts either. I think you may have, maybe that's where the initial, because I said mirroring initially and then I kind of moved more in the direction of compatibility, but one way I could see mirroring being relevant to this situation is that you both may tend to be harsh with your own selves. And I think this is a mutual energy that you are learning how to be more gentle with your own selves by looking at how gentle you are with each other and really getting to experience that in a safe space. And it feels like it's also seeping into your own relationship with your own self. I think you are also inspiring this person to dream bigger. We have the Page of Cups, the Page of Pentacles. I already noticed this was a 3 of Swords, but I wasn't sure if it was upright or in reverse. I thought definitely reverse, but who knows? But it was in reverse. So I'm happy to see that. A lot of healing where they have been holding themselves back. I think you have a very profound effect on this person, and they are learning to be patient, to be resilient, especially if you are in a separation or there are like obstacles between the two of you, distance or some kind of other responsibility, some kind of other commitment. This could be a career, this could be a study path that they chose, it could be work away, it could be volunteering somewhere, it could be financial restraints, but it does feel like there is some sort of rough patch or block between the two of you for most of you. But those challenges, I think, are also teaching both of you, but for the context of this reading, this person to be resilient and to stick it out for things that they feel are worth it. I think they are very drawn to you intuitively. It's like they followed their heart, which may seem a bit out of character for this person because I don't think they're necessarily someone who deals with the world of like intuition and things of that sort, but it's almost like they have been able to practice this new skill because with you the pull was so strong, the potential that they saw was so much that they just couldn't ignore it. It would be like ridiculous to ignore it. I feel like this is someone who's kind of matter of fact as well, maybe a bit straightforward. I don't think they... I lost my train of thought. But it was about self-expression and how they express themselves, which makes sense now that it's... I lost my train of thought because I had a nice sentence too, but it's gone, but it's okay. I think they may have trouble expressing their feelings sometimes to you still. Not because they don't feel them, but because I don't think it comes naturally to them necessarily. They may have, like, I don't know, physical touch as their love language or something else, but I'm not getting that their love language would be words of affirmation for most of you, because it almost feels like this is someone that would say, oh, but I don't have to say it, I'd rather show it. Seems like that kind of person, not just in the context of love, but in general. We have the Four of Cups as well. And I don't think it's that they don't like saying, like, I love you and things like that. I don't want to speak for them if you haven't said it, so pretend you didn't hear me say this. I do think they have deep feelings for you, but I don't want to, you know, put them in a box and say this is what it is, because I don't want to speak for them in that aspect. But I don't think it's that they don't like saying it. I think it just is not the first thing that pops in their head to say it. I think they'd rather just show it. But it also feels like if you were to ask them to say it more, if they understand where you're coming from, then they would also try to do it more often. But with this person, there is a strong emphasis on communicating clearly, because this is someone who means what they say. In terms of, like, if they make a promise, they mean it. Like, they're making it because they mean it, not because they're just saying it. This is not someone who just says empty things. And I also think for them, like, hearing something once is enough. Like, they understand it and they take it as it is. So if you said something to them, but then something changed, I think it's important to re-communicate with this person what has changed or how you feel about something now. I don't know why this specifically is coming through, but maybe there is like an issue some of you are resolving with this person, or something you've talked about and you've changed your mind, and it might be good to tell this person that something has changed. If that is the case. Getting a lot of like practical matters here. So you both could be dealing with trying to figure out practical matters in your own way. Maybe career. I don't know why I keep saying career. Maybe career. Maybe you're both focused on like your careers, because it feels like safety has been established in this connection if you are with this person and you're just going through a rough patch, or if you're not with this person, you are both just focused on your own thing. But even if you are with this person and you are focused on the relationship to some extent, it feels like right now you are also putting a lot of energy into making something happen for your own self, both them and you. I'm getting this energy from both of you. Now we'll get some channeled messages and we will get tons of more in the extended. But to start us off, let's see. Oh, we also have Capricorn energy. I don't remember if I mentioned that. Spirit, we have I'm emotionally unavailable. That kind of fell I don't think this is going to be the case for every single one of you, but I feel like for some of you, this person is emotionally a bit closed off currently, not because their feelings for you are not there in their essence, but because they are focusing on something else right now. They are more concerned with something else right now. Maybe career, maybe studies, maybe traveling, maybe their own self and their own mental health. I don't think this is going to be the case for every single one of you, but for some of you, this could be the blockage or the rough patch between the two of you. We have, I'm not being honest with myself. You are magnetic. You are so important to me. We have, I don't know what your intentions are, and I want to know you better. I feel like here we have representations of all the 3 different places where you might be with this person. If you are going through a rough patch and in a relationship or in separation with this person, I would say these messages may be more relevant. If you are with this person going through dealing with like external circumstances, I think these are the most important messages. But I think this also kind of applies to every single group that I've mentioned anyway. This is also kind of why I stopped doing channeled messages in the main readings, because I think I started channeling more varied situations compared to my past readings. Even though I think there were more people around back then, I also feel like there was more alignment with like the situations that were happening. And right now it feels a bit more like in the extended, it's like literally a story immediately. At least, I don't know. That's what I feel about them. That's why I stopped including channeled messages in every reading, because I also don't want to confuse anyone by, you know, giving you additional random messages. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just perfect, like perfect summary, one situation for everyone almost. But yeah, some piles are a bit more varied. And I feel like this is one of those. But either way, we have, I don't know what your intentions are here, and I want to know you better. And I would say this is for those of you that are still getting to know this person and you have not really deepened your connection yet, but you feel a very strong pull towards each other. And I would say these would be the most relevant messages for you then. But, of course, mix and match as you wish. Now, we will finish off the main reading with some affirmations from the, I think this is called the Soul's Journey Oracle, though I'm not fully sure. Since we have kind of 3 groups here, I'm going to take an affirmation for every path we have. So this is path 1. This is option 1. For option 1, what affirmation is most relevant right now, please, universe? What affirmation is most relevant for option 1? I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. This may relate to both of you dealing with your own health or your mental health, or just focusing on your own path, honoring yourself and your own needs first. For option 2, we have, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. I think this is something that you have already been practicing with this person, looking at things from each other's perspective, or at least trying to understand each other's perspective and having empathy. And I would say keep doing that. Keep getting to know each other better. Keep deepening your connection. It feels very rewarding and like you're creating a safe space, or you have already created a safe space with each other. And for option 3, what affirmation is... Okay. I don't know. I'll shuffle again. Okay. We have worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Which is true. It's a very normal feeling to have, but not the most useful. And on this note, this is all I have for you. Well, I'll also show you the bottom deck because I feel like it. I accept that everything happens in divine order. I know no one likes hearing this, but if you are waiting on something to open up between the two of you, maybe circumstances or some cycle to be done, there's probably a reason why it's taking this long, or it hasn't happened yet. And it may be beyond your understanding right now, but I feel like it's gonna make sense. In this pile, definitely. I feel like things will make a lot of sense soonish. I don't want to put a limit on it, but I also feel like saying soonish. So anyway, on this note, this is all I have for you. I hope this was helpful. I will see you in a bit if you are meeting me in the extended, and if not, I am sending you tons of love already. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile 3s, and welcome to your reading on how you're affecting the person on your mind. We will start off with this card, and then we have some tarot, and the channeled messages are making a comeback in this reading. And we also have an extended, which I will talk about later on. But let's get into this first and see what we're dealing with. So we have the full moon for you. Cancer energy could be significant, as well as Pisces. They don't have to be significant at all though, so no worries if not. But the first thing I'm getting from this card is that this could be a connection where you feel a very, very, very deep, very strong spiritual kind of connection to this person. You could feel like you've known them in a past life. It could feel like you just somehow knew them already before you met them. And I think this has been a very triggering connection. This candle, it's about to, like, if I shake it a little bit, it's going to start dripping. It's going to overflow. And I didn't notice that before. I don't know what it was like in the other piles, but I'm really drawn to it now. And it's red. It's quite like this fiery energy. So I feel like this connection has led to a lot of triggers for this person and a lot of purging of unhealthy patterns and self-limiting beliefs. And I think this is potentially still an ongoing process for most of you. It doesn't feel like you're out in the clear yet. It feels a lot like overwhelming energy still, like this person is ascending in certain ways, but going through a path with a lot of ups and downs. So a lot of ascending and then going back a few steps and practicing it again. And I think this has a lot to do with this person's mental health potentially, and their view of their own self and their environment and the situations that they put themselves in, what kind of situations they believe they are deserving of. I feel like there has been a little bit of a revamp of their perspectives in these areas. There is a lot of intuitive energy here. You could be very intuitive. You could feel like psychically connected to this person as well. You could feel their energy even when you're apart. There is quite a lot of your energies feel connected but very distant, like you haven't seen them in ages. This won't be the case for every single one of you. It doesn't have to be. But for some of you, I get the sense that someone, or maybe both of you, you've had to walk away from this connection because it was not coming together the way that it potentially could. Like the potential of this connection, or like you saw a lot of potential in this connection. They saw a lot of potential in this connection, but things would just not come together the way that either of you wanted them to. That's the main energy that I'm getting, and I'm really drawn to this sand. It's making me think of quicksand. Like you've both been very much sucked into this connection and you can't quite shake it off. You can't stop thinking about this person, and they potentially can't stop thinking about... I'm going to cut myself off there because the feeling I get from this person is not necessarily that they do this in a way where they're very self-aware and they are aware that they're inviting thoughts of you in, but I think it's more so that they bump into things that remind them of you. Like they could see your name, they could see your birthday, they could see your favorite flowers everywhere, or a pet that looks just like yours. You could really like turtles and they start seeing turtles everywhere. Whatever it may be. I don't know where the turtles came from, but I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's going to make sense to someone, probably. That's usually what happens when I give random examples. But turtles are great, so nice choice in animals. But either way, this person is still very much... They have this connection on their mind, but I don't think it's in a very conscious way. I think it's in the back of their mind. I think they're reminded of it very often, and I think it's something that really confuses them. I think you confuse this person. I think you confuse this person with this connection. I think you confuse this person with how you have been there for them, because I think a lot of people have checked out when things started getting deeper, when things started getting more intense, because I think this is someone who has a bit of a running reaction or avoidant reaction to things getting more intense or things getting more real. And I don't think this comes from a place of not wanting to share themselves or not wanting to be in these types of situations, but I think it comes from a place of being unhealed in certain ways, and intimacy presses on these wounds. And when intimacy presses on these wounds, it hurts and it makes them want to stop. It feels like a case of this person feeling like there was no other choice. They had to choose themselves, or they had to walk away, because otherwise it was going to bring both of you more pain. I think this is in the past of this connection, and potentially something that still weighs on this person as a decision that they have made and that has brought both of you pain in the end. I think a part of them can also still argue that it was the right thing to do at the time, but another part of them thinks, no, like, you hurt pile 3, you hurt yourself, what did you do? There is still, I think, a voice in them that has difficulty accepting themselves for who they are, and has difficulty with some of their behavioral patterns that this person really doesn't like about themselves. I feel this sense of like, oh, I just wish I could stop doing this, but I can't. I think in certain ways they give their power away, and that this connection is highlighted where for them it hurts the most. I think this connection is, or has highlighted, where they were afraid the most, what they were afraid of doing the most, what they tend to avoid the most, and maybe potentially what they should go after and figure out for themselves. So I think they have felt very guided by you in certain ways. and very drawn to you, but not in ways that they can understand or really put into words, but more so in a way that really, really confuses them, and it's difficult for them to make sense of this, or why they feel this way in the first place, or why they've had other connections in the past and they've been able to get over them, or take something from them and understand that and utilize that in their life, or make sense of it, or accept it and move on. But with your connection, it's been waves of acceptance and then waves of denial. It feels hot and cold in that way, like it comes and goes, like it ends but then it begins again. And you may have had many phases with this person as well. You may have had more than one cycle. You may have been with them and then you separated, and then something along those lines. Like, it comes and goes. That's the energy that I'm getting. And I also just realized I didn't actually take your tarot deck out. And I also had not decided on it. I made an intuitive choice just now, and the bottom card is the moon, which for me confirms my choice. Sometimes I'll check with a deck if they're the deck for this reading. I have to ask them too, you know. But let's get into this and look at how you are affecting this person in their life. Oh, and before I forget, I will quickly talk about the extended. We will be looking at what this person has realized, and we will get tons of channeled messages from them. We will also finish off with advice on what to do now or in the future, whenever the advice may apply to you. And all advice is always optional. Everything on this channel is optional. So yeah, let's get into this now. I hear an ambulance. We have the Hanged Woman. Pisces energy could be significant. We have the Empress. I also have to say, when I was trying to shuffle your first card, this one, I dropped the entire deck many times, and it's not a new thing that I would be dropping decks. It happens, I think, in every single reading that I do, probably. Just adds to the chaos of reading. But I don't know, this fall was quite something. It was very impactful. Like, the whole deck just went everywhere in my room. It went under my little poof thing that I have here. It was just everywhere. So I had to move everything around and collect the pieces. And it almost feels like this connection has impacted both of you so strongly, but the pieces, the information, what makes this situation make sense, or what makes you understand it as best as possible, those pieces have been scattered around and you're still looking for them. And I think that's the case for this person a little bit. I hope that doesn't sound too cryptic. It was not too much of a conscious choice to give that, it just came out. I don't know. I hope it made sense. We have a 5 of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. There's a very strong separation energy here. So I think most of you are going to be in separation with this person, or on some kind of pause, or in very limited contact. You may have dreams about them. If you do, they likely have dreams about you too. Taurus, Libra, Pisces energies. They could be significant. There is a lot of respect, a lot of admiration, and a lot of I look up to you energy from this person to you. I think they see you as a powerhouse for everything. someone who is very capable of being independent and extending their energy to other people without losing themselves and without like feeling like it's too much. And this doesn't have to be the objective truth. And it's very human to, you know, not always be able to give to other people, but I think this person sees you as a source of like generous energy, someone who is always willing to give and share and be there. I think they've either witnessed you grow, or they feel like you are someone who is very capable of constantly growing and evolving and becoming a version of yourself that you want to be. I think they find this inspirational, and I think it affects them in a way where they want to possess that kind of energy too. It's a bit of a guiding light type of energy. For some of you, I get the sense that this person is a bit frustrated that they are in this situation. Like they're a bit tired. This is not going to be for every single one of you, but for some of you, I think this person is tired of the journey that they are on, because I think they don't quite understand it. And maybe this will resonate more for those of you who have been repeating the same cycle with this person over and over again, and seeing not a lot of change in what's happening or the energies. For some of you, this person's energy feels a bit more stagnant, but I don't think that's going to be every single one of you, because that is also not the majority, like not the major energy that I'm getting. But for some of you, I get this undertone of frustration, of being like annoyed because due to a feeling of helplessness. And this could be where this person started for all of you, but for most of you, I also see progress, self-growth, a lot of self-growth, and a lot of inspiration and motivation to do it too. But of course, this doesn't mean that this person never has any ups and downs, but I also feel that a big chunk of their energy lately, or maybe in the past couple of years, or maybe even more, I feel like a lot of it has been going to making their own self feel safe and making themselves feel good in their own energy. Becoming a version of themselves that they can be proud of, that they are proud of, that they desire to be. I'm just going to move these cards a little bit so everything is properly in the frame. We also have the Hermit in reverse. Virgo energy or Virgo season could also be significant, but it doesn't have to be. Can we clarify the Five of Pentacles, please, universe? Five of Pentacles. Why is the Five of Pentacles? We have the King of Wands. For some of you, and you will know if this message is for you, but it almost feels like for some of you, this person could have felt like they would be abandoning themselves and their own principles if they were to move towards this connection. I think this is because essentially this connection has been very triggering and groundbreaking for this person, and getting closer to it may have seemed too scary, like too much would change. And this could have been the underlying reason to them walking away from this connection or deciding to focus on themselves, because this is someone who really tries to do their best and someone who wants to be independent, someone who may have a past of being a bit more on the codependent end of things in their past relationships maybe, or maybe with a parent. Maybe it's something that they've seen in a parent. And for some of you, this person may have had an absent parent figure. Like one of their parent figures may have been emotionally unavailable, or just not there, or not supportive, because they seem to have a perception of like, I do things on my own, I figure things out for myself, and I don't make it anyone else's problem. Even when I could use some help and it wouldn't really hurt anyone else, I feel like it would still be, I would still be a burden to other people. It feels like that kind of perception of themselves, and that could be a thing. And I feel like this may also come from a place of like having been very dependent on other people in the past to fulfill their needs, and then switching from that to a bit of a hyper-independent energy where they are just afraid to be codependent again or lose themselves in some way, so they avoid that altogether. So essentially, I think the effect you've had on this person, the biggest effect is that it has been triggering, very triggering and intense. We have Temperance in reverse. And we have the Four of Swords. You've given them a lot to think about, it seems. A lot of thoughts, a lot of things about themselves that maybe they haven't ever considered before or noticed, about relationships, about their own patterns. There is a lot of introspective energy. But also a very, I don't know, I just feel this distance between the two of you. A bit of a gap. I'm hearing it never felt like the right time. And I think emotionally this has been quite overwhelming for them with the Knight of Cups in reverse as the bottom deck energy. And they may have had phases where they came in and out of your life for some of you. And this may have been due to impulse and feeling really, really triggered emotionally and just not thinking things through. Even though I think this is normally someone who does think things through or considers things a lot in hindsight. There is quite a lot of overthinking energy, like an overthinking energy to them. What am I doing? Not advice yet. We will get some channeled messages from this person, which we will continue with in the extended. I think I already mentioned the extended in your reading. I did all the readings back to back, so I'm a little bit confused as to, yeah, what I said in which pile, but all right. What message wants to come through for pile 3 from this person? What message wants to come through from pile 3 for this person? You intimidate me. I think they're intimidated by this connection and the intensity of it. I think they are going through a big, big, big healing cycle, but it also feels like they are not the fastest moving energy right now. It feels like it's quite like it for some of you, you could feel like you're waiting for this person a little bit. You may have decided to wait for this person, especially if you feel very intuitively connected to them. We have, would you say yes? There is so much I want to say to you, which again makes me feel like there isn't a whole lot of contact. We have, I want your attention. You are so important to me. And one more, please. We have, I'm sorry you had to see that side of me, that triggered side of them. I don't think they are quite happy with what they've shown you or how they've acted towards you and in this connection. Bottom deck energies, I'm so grateful to have met you. I want to finish off your reading with some affirmations, which are completely optional for you to take into account or ignore as you wish. But I will just put these out there before we move into the extended. How, no. Not how is pile 3 affecting this person, but what advice, what affirmation does pile 3 most need to hear right now, please? What affirmation? We have trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. I think we do have a very intuitive pile on our hands here. So that makes sense. And we have service. I feel good when I can help others. Though you are never obliged to help anyone else, especially if you don't feel like you have the energy for it. But it's essentially never your responsibility to make sure someone else heals or to do the work for someone else. Sometimes we gotta learn our lessons on our own, and no one else can really put it in our heads. We have to go through it ourselves, and we have to want to learn it to be able to learn it. Otherwise, it can go in from one ear and, you know, out the other. So, and I'm not saying that this person doesn't want to learn or anything, just as a side note. Yeah, sometimes I'll say something and I'll see these really odd interpretations of them that I absolutely did not mean. So, yeah, but yeah, I definitely don't mean this person like doesn't want to learn or like anything along those lines. I think they're just a bit frustrated. That's the main energy that I get from them. But on this note, this is all I have for you. I am sending you tons of love. See you in the extended if you're meeting me there. And if not, take really good care. And bye.